Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Syami. Today I will present about perception and attribution. So my point is today introduction and definition. So I will present introduction first. So people based on their behavior, on what they perceive, not necessarily on what reality is. Therefore, comprehending what perception is a process, and what influence that perception process will enable a person to better understand why people react in a certain manner. Additionally, being aware of what to avoid in preventing perception distortion and knowing the shortcuts in making perception will also allow a person to have better, more complete information to make decision. Different individuals have different thinking style, feeling, belief, and objective, and etc. And almost every individual behave accordingly. Just because of this factor, different people take different meaning for the same thing. For some, a particular thing is right, whereas for some, it is totally wrong. So it is all because how you think. What is your point of view? How you look at things? This is perception. So what is definition of perception? Perception is a process whereby we try to understand the world around us. This process happens when we start to classify, interpret, and give meaning to the thing that happen around us, as well as to what we see. According to Edward de Bono, 1969, perception is the first stage of the thought process. The second level is logic. Perception affect what logic see. In short, perception determine logic. According to Muhammad Saleh, 1995, perception is an individual process of interpreting the sense of stimuli and giving meaning to them. It is also the awareness and reaction of individual is a meaningful pattern. In fact, it does not happen automatically but take a long time. This is through regular interpretation and understanding. So there are some more definition by Newman, 1983. Perception is the process in which sensory experience are organized and made meaningful. So according to Chaplin, J.P., 1985, perception is the process by which one knows the object and the objective event through the sense. Last one, Solso, 1991. Perception is an activities cognitive process which is include the selection, organize, and interpretation of stimulus and stimulus. So perception happen every day. It can happen at any time. We form perception toward our family members, classmates, colleges, as well as toward event and things around us. The result of perception process will definitely differ from one individual to another due to individual difference. So next slide. Example of perception. Perception causes different reaction and action. For instance, let us say that a chief executive officer of an organization send out a memorandum requesting all department heads to submit their overtime expenses incurred for the past 6 months. Within 2 days' time, they are also required to submit their expected overtime expenses that have been forecasted for the next 6 months. Okay, I will translate it to bahasa Malaysia. Maksudnya dekat sini, persepsi menyebabkan reaksi dan tindakan yang berbeza. Sebagai contoh, katakanlah bahawa seorang ketua pegawai eksekutif organisasi menghantar memorandum yang meminta semua ketua jabatan untuk mengemukakan pembelanjaan lembur mereka yang dikeluarkan selama 6 bulan terakhir. Dalam masa 2 hari, mereka juga diminta untuk menyerahkan jangkaan biayaan lembur yang telah diramal selama 6 bulan ke depan. So we proceed. This is sudden and unusual request create mild choice among the employees in the organization. The head of marketing assume that the organization is facing a financial problem and start looking into way to minimize overhead expenses. He or she then mention his concern to an assistant who is then spread the news to her peers. Consequently, rumor that the organization going bankrupt to surface. So dekat sini maksudnya permintaan yang tiba-tiba dan tidak biasa ini menimbulkan kekacauan ringan di dalam kalangan pekerja di organisasi. Ketua pemasaran menganggap bahawa organisasi menghadapi masalah kewangan dan mula mencari cara untuk mengurangkan pembelanjaan overhead, yang mana dia kemudian menyebut keprihatinannya kepada seorang pembantu yang pada gilirannya menyebabkan berita kepada rakan-rakannya. Akibatnya kabar angin bahawa organisasi akan mula muncul. Okay, we proceed. Meanwhile, the head of human resource assume that the CEO want to determine the reason for overtime claim in order to decide whether the company should hire extra employee, or if the reason for the overtime claim are actually due to insufficient knowledge resulting in employee having redo work. On the other hand, the head of operation assume that the CEO is just trying to study the workflow and understand the problem, which is have resulted in overtime claim for the department. Okay, maksudnya sementara itu ketua sumber manusia menganggap bahawa ketua pegawai eksekutif ingin menentukan alasan tuntutan masa tuntutan masa untuk memutuskan sama ada syarikat harus mengambil pekerja tambahan atau jika alasan tuntutan lebih masa sebenarnya disebabkan oleh pengetahuan yang tidak mencukupi, mengakibatkan pekerja mempunyai kerja semula yang mana dia perlu bekerja buat pekerjaan itu berulang. Sebaliknya, ketua operasi menganggap bahawa ketua pegawai eksekutif hanya berusaha mengkaji aliran kerja dan memahami masalah yang mengakibatkan tuntutan lebih masa dari jabatan. Ringkasnya, memo CEO telah menghasilkan banyak tafsiran yang berbeza dan ini telah menimbul reaksi positif dan negatif yang seterusnya menghalang produktiviti pekerja. Oleh itu, persepsi harus diminimumkan. In sum, the CEO memo has resulted in many different In sum, the CEO memo has resulted in many different interpretations, and this has created both positive and negative reaction, which is then hinder the productivity of the employee. Therefore, perception should be minimized. So, lastly, different individuals have different thinking style, belief, feeling, and objective. And almost every individual behave accordingly. Just because of this factor, different people take different meaning for the same thing. For some, a particular thing is right, whereas for some it is totally wrong. It is all because how you take things. What is your point of view? How you look at things. This is perception. So that's all from me. Introduction and definition. So I will pass to my friend. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Nazmi Adib. ID number I1710203. In this video, I would like to talk about the process of perception. The process of perception consists of receiving, selecting, organizing, and interpreting. The first is receiving. Receiving is the most important stage, which a person collect all information and receive the information through the sense organ. Secondly is selecting. Selecting is the second stage in the process. Here, a person doesn't receive the data randomly but selectively. A person selects some information out of all in accordance with interest or need. The selection of data is dominated by various external and internal factors. External factors is the factors that influence the perception of an individual externally. Example, intensity, size, contrast, movement, repetition. The internal factors is the factors that influence the perception of individual internally, like learning, background, experience, self-acceptance, and interest. Thirdly, organizing. Keeping things in order, or say in a synchronous way, is organizing. In order to make sense of the data received, it is important to organize them. We can organize the data by grouping them on the basis of their similarity, proximity, closure, and continuity. The lastly is interpreting. We have the process of interpreting, which means forming an idea about a particular object depending the need or interest. Interpretation means that the information we have sensed and organized is finally given a meaning by turning it into something that can be categorized. It includes stereotyping, halo effect. That's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Amir Dayat bin Muhammad Jais. ID matric I17202-143. Today I want present about factor influencing perception. There are three influence perception. Is first characteristic of the pervasive, two characteristic target or object, and three characteristic situation. Okay, first about pervasive. There are four characteristics. First, attitude. Attitude is a person's behavior, temperament, and morals. Usually, a person's attitude is based on his hurt. Sometimes, our attitudes also reflect how emotional we are. For example, in this organization, if we always have facilitated the work of pupil, if we do not have a job, people will look at us better and how our hurt become happier. All the work asked by the boss is done. Number two, interest. This interest also plays an important role in perception to further enhance the company positioner for future development. For example, boss must ask the employer during interview the interest, and boss can put the employer in the right organization and to improve our company. Number three, motive. Something that becomes a thing or theme in a story or organization. What is a motive organization established? An entity directing a goal in a deliberate structure. Working together to achieve goal in a deliberate structure. Number 4, experience. Experience and knowledge serve as basis for perception. Without experience and knowledge, we cannot answer future perception. With this, at least we need to have some knowledge of the perception, the ours. After that, characteristic, target or object. Okay. Novel or something unique or a peculiar idea is like to attract anyone, attract we person. Novel, if we have an interesting idea we can through in our organization to further improve our organization and be able to grow even greater compared to other organization. Number 2, sounds. Sound level or noisy level is physical quantity. Measuring loudness is a physical section provided by the human auditory. Number 3, promoted or geographical promoted is an import factor for of group. Promoted geography distance is also very important. For example, nowadays we are spread and unable to meet to manage the organization to discuss organization targets. Number 4, size. Large big object is more like to be noticed than a small object. Sometimes the above people do not judge. Better people under this person during this person do the job to reach the targets on place in the organization. Last, characteristic of the situation. First, time perception is a construction of the brain that can also be manipulated and studied through a variety of experiments. Time, we must alert everywhere. It can is your attitude. For example, in Japan, them very alert about times. In Islam, masa itu ibarat pedang. After that, word environment. This word environment is also an important element in our mood. Whether the mood is positive or negative, sometimes if we were too much, our mood also sometimes goes down. Work environment is a very important situation. It need to be balanced so that we can keep our mood. Last, social environment. Social environment involves more people than in the work environment. So we must control our mood more because there are various type of people. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name Afnan bin Azam. My number matric I172029192. So today I want to present for my part is perceptual distortion. Perceptual distortion is about in Malay we call that tanggapan yang salah ataupun persepsi yang salah ke atas seseorang. So today, first point in this perception distortion have a 6 point. So 6 point. So I will describe about overall of this point. So we go to first that selective perception. So selective perception in organization, when we have an interview, first thing we must see overall characteristic in others. So in that case, we can see all the best value thing that have in other people. Number two is halo effect. Halo effect is mean when someone meet someone, he draw a general impression about that man that he see in interview or in organization. So example like for how manager draw a first impression to a new staff that he want to make he want to come in interview for this company. Then halo effect is mean someone draw a first thing that he see in the people. Mostly like he look someone look very tightly, not smile, and he draw a general impression. He mean that the people is like not have a good perspective in themselves. So second is first impression error. First impression error is habit to people to have a negative perception to others, like manager or supervisor. When in interview, you have a first impression error to a new staff that you want to interview. Example like the staff wear a black t-shirt in interview, so he think in that mind, a manager think in their mind, these people must be a bad people because he wear a black t-shirt. Mostly like that lah. So third next point is about similar to me effect. So similar to me effect is he perceive other and compare to a similar one. Mostly like he see someone in the interview, manager see someone in interview, and he compare this man have a characteristic like this man. So he see a bad thing in that man. He also compare this man must be same like this man have a not good background, like example like this lah. So then fourth point is about stereotype. Stereotype ni that's mean is about habit to people assume someone. So in this case, we can see that in our globalized, we can see in our world right now, and everywhere we go, stereotype be in everybody self. Like manager have assume the new staff he want to interview, the new staff like have a bad habit, and he make a negative perception to a new staff. But he didn't make a whole characteristic. He don't know how and who the staff, and he stereotype first to that person. So and lastly is a contrast effect. Contrast effect mean trend. Is a be a trend to manager and supervisor compare the situation to other situation that happened before. Like he see someone girl, like a beautiful girl, so nice her face, and he think in himself this girl must be a hardworking one, so clever like that because the girl is beautiful. But he didn't know the girl is so lazy like that. He don't know to whole characteristic. He only just one thing, a good thing to all everything positive thing. But when he see a whole characteristic, the girl have a bad habit in the behind. So he have a perception distortion that have happened in the first impression. So finally, is it only for me? So I have to continue to my friend, other friend, for next point. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Khairul Amin bin Alias and my metric number is I17202288. Okay. I will present about perceptual distortion. Okay. And for the first point is having a high level of awareness. As individuals, we need to be aware of the issues surrounding us. We cannot make any negative assumption about anyone before we know the truth. For example, we can see just like when we smile at someone and the person does not have any reaction when we smile at him, for him, we assume he is maybe arrogant, but maybe he have a problem or something. That's why no reaction from him. Okay, that's why we must have a high level of awareness. Okay, and the second point is seeking information from various sources. Before making a decision or giving any meaning to any situation or target, we need to seek and obtain information from many sources as possible. When we hear something bad news, do not easily believe and accept that for the first time, but try to find from many various sources so that we can make the right decision for our perception. Okay, and then being empathetic. Being empathetic is just before making any judgment or making any decision, we must to put ourselves in a particular situation first before we act. Sometimes we can create our perception and give meaning based on specific issues or information only. But for the empathy is easily to understand is try to put ourselves in other people's situation. Or in other words, just like try to put yourself in another shoes. Try to feel what he feel. And then when we understand the situation of others, it's easy for us to change our negative perception into more positive perception. Okay, and next is helping to rectify incorrect perception. Just like stop the spread negative perception. When we receive bad news about someone, the most important way is try to advise the rumors presenter or the sender or the rumor sender to stop spreading these rumors. When these rumors stop, negative perception among other individual also will be stopped too. Okay, and the last is avoiding common perceptual distortion. Okay, just like all individuals need to ensure that they avoid the common perceptual distortion, such as having a stereotype views. Stereotype views, just like for example, we assume man is strong, woman is weak, men should not cry, and so on. These all stereotypes in our surrounding. And also try to avoid making judgment to others for others person, such as looking down on others, insulting others, and so on. And then by following this method, we maybe can manage our perception distortion. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Faizul Fahmi bin Zulkifli. My metric number I17202261. Okay, today I want to present about Kelly's attribution theory. Okay. What is the meaning of attribution? Okay. The definition of attribution is the process through which we seek to identify the cause of others' behavior and also gain knowledge of their stable traits and disposition. Okay, that is a definition of attribution. And another definition, people tend to judge or make judgments and assign reasons to the behavior of others. If it is common for people to observe other people's behavior before attaching reasons to and presuming the causes of the said behavior. Okay. They do so determine whether the behavior is internally caused and externally caused. Okay. Cause of behavior can be assigned to internal or external factors. Okay. We go to the internal cause and external cause. Okay. Internal cause, the meaning of internal cause is causes of individual. Okay. External cause is causes of others. Okay. What is the meaning of causes of individual and causes of others? Okay. Causes of individual, for example, I fail my mathematics subject. For example, I fail in mathematics subject in my class, and then I not blame others. Okay, I not blame others. I not blame my teacher. I not blame my lecturer. Yeah, saya salahkan guru. Saya tidak salahkan guru-guru saya. Saya tak salahkan lecturer saya, tapi saya salahkan diri saya sendiri. I blaming myself that I say I'm not hardworking, I'm not thinking about my future, so something like that. That is causes of individual. Okay. Now causes of others. Causes of other adalah dia menyalahkan. Okay, contoh saya gagal dalam matematik. Jadi saya tak salahkan diri saya sendiri. Saya cakap benda ni berpunca daripada orang lain. Contohnya saya salahkan cikgu saya salahkan lecturer saya yang tak mengajar dalam keadaan yang baik. Itu bermaksud causes of others. So maksudnya dia judging dalam satu keadaan tetapi dia menyalahkan orang lain. So itu bermaksud external causes of others, and then kalau dia menyalahkan diri sendiri, itu bermaksud internal cause. Internal cause iaitu causes of individual. So apa yang kita tahu, internal adalah diri kita sendiri, dalaman. External adalah luaran. Okay, kita pergi kepada determining the internal or external cause. Okay, there are three factors which determine whether a behavior is internally or externally caused, namely distinctiveness, consensus, and consistency. Okay, we go to the distinctiveness. What is the meaning of distinctiveness? Okay, distinctiveness, the meaning that an individual who reacts in the same manner in other situation. Okay, that is the meaning that if a person behave the same way in other situations, then the distinctiveness is low. Okay. However, if a person behave differently in other situation, then the distinctiveness is high. Okay, that is mean of distinctiveness. Distinctiveness is keistimewaan. Okay, consensus. Kita pergi kepada consensus. Consensus bermaksud kata sepakat. Okay, ini bermaksud an individual will give similar reaction as other people to the same situation. Okay, it means if other people behave and give similar reactions, then the consensus is high. Okay. However, if the person does not give the same reaction, then the consensus is considered low. Okay. That is definition of consensus. Okay. Now we go to consistency. Consistency means kekal ataupun tidak berubah-ubah. Maksudnya dia berterusan. Okay. Consistency bermaksud an individual who we are judging give similar reaction to different situation. Okay, it's mean if the person give similar reactions at other times, then the consistency is high. However, if the person does not, then the consistency is low. Okay, that is definition of definition of distinctiveness, consensus, and then consistency. Okay, now I want to tell about the example of condition. how to consistency and distinctiveness function. Okay. For the example, for the condition, the example of condition, Raju is late to office, but all others were in time. He is always late to office and to all programs outside office. Okay, it's mean consensus low, consistency high, distinctiveness is low. Okay, we go to the next condition. Okay. For next example, a student, Devi. Okay, Devi shout at his English teacher. Okay, other students also shout to him. He shouts to English teacher all the time, but he do not shouts to other teachers. Okay, that is consensus high, consistency high, and distinctiveness also high. Okay, that is some example that how to three major dimension function in some situation or some condition. Okay, that's all from me about the theory of attribution by Kellis. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Wardatul Husna binti Karnizam. My metric number I172022130. So today I'll present to you the case study. Okay, the case study is about Sophia and 3 years employee in BBB Corp. A careful, hardworking, disciplined, ideas contributor employee in the company. She expects good pay, feedback, and next promotion from her top management. However, the one who get promoted is Asfa, who is being good friend to her boss. She believes Asfa's promotion is not based on his performance and skill, as Sophia believes that his skill and performance is not as high as hers. Sophia makes perception where her boss being discriminate her based on sexism by letting Asfa got promoted. Sophia began to change from positive to negative attitude as her perception towards Asfa and her boss become negative. So we go to the questions. Okay, with referring to the case, Sophia may have made wrong perception towards her boss' decisions. Discuss the possible decision that Sophia could take in order to provide her with more accurate perception. So, based on the case, Sophia may have the wrong perception toward her boss' decision in promoting Asfa instead of her. It can be related to the error of halo effect in making perception towards Asfa. Asfa's one trait that his skill and performance is regarded as lower than her makes Sophia think negatively about her boss letting Asfa being promoted. The one trait that from a general conclusion that lead negative perception of Sophia toward her boss' decision. In increasing the accuracy of Sophia's perception, Sophia has to change the perception that influenced by her belief in resulting negative perception towards her boss' decision and change the belief that Asfa is not entitled from being promoted based on his skills. However, she do not really know her actual performance and skill that regarded higher than Asfa's. To increase the accuracy that lead to creation of negative perception toward her boss' decision, Sophia should get to know herself by getting feedback from friends or colleagues before making a conclusion of something. Okay. Second, Sophia did not interact or communicate with Asfa, so she did not communicate and interact with her boss, but she received a little feedback from her boss. No interaction or communication with Asfa makes Sophia create a wrong perception on how Asfa perform in organization. This lead to perceptual bias, where she regarded as first performance is lower than her. Last but not least, I will make the conclusion for this topic. As we know, perception is a process that clarifies, interprets, and gives meaning to what is happening and what we see around us. I believe all human in the world have their own perception towards everything in their life, towards situation, towards other human, towards friends, towards family, towards manager, towards employee or employer. So we have to know how to control the perception, how to manage the perception. Okay, other than that, we have the factors which influence a person in forming perception, such as the perceiver, the target, and the situation being perceived. So perception can also be avoided if we have wrong perception towards people, such as we can be avoided if one has a high level of awareness, seek information from various sources, practice empathy and others. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.